The Kansas City Chiefs have dominated the AFC for the last 6 seasons. However, after their blowout loss in the Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles, some believe that their window may be over.
Nick believes. He should put Nick believes.
Is there a team in the AFC that the Chiefs should be fearful of or that could stop them from getting back to the Super Bowl? What is more likely to happen this upcoming season? The Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl or the Chiefs not winning that division?
This is a crazy
winning the division.
This is insane. And I read this and like Nick would not be on after putting the question up like this. As long as the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, I've been saying it for 3 years straight, and people have doubted, oh, yeah, you got the receivers, Travis Kelce getting old, Andy Reid. Like, no, bro. We're watching the best quarterback to ever play the game play in this era, and he's always going to be in Super Bowl contention. I don't care how they play in the regular season. I don't care how good their division gets. None of that matters because Patrick Mahomes is that good. I don't care that the Raiders got better. I don't care that this coaching in this division is the elite coaching division they claim now. That doesn't matter. What we've seen over the last 2 years, when people have counted Kansas City out and they still made the Super Bowl, win or loss, still made it there. Their teams in the AFC, like they still gonna be like to the Bills, who probably is the most, or Baltimore. Kansas City still a boogeyman. Like, y'all still have to beat Patrick Mahomes. I don't care how good y'all get. Y'all still got to go in playoffs and either to Arrowhead or him coming to your crib and feel comfortable in the thing like, I can beat Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think no team in the AFC thinks that. The Chiefs are still the favorites.
I do. Well, okay. So I do feel like this. I do feel like that armor of invincibility, the Kansas Chiefs no longer own that. However, I do agree as long as Pat Mahomes is under center, you're always in contention. Same thing that Joe Burrow said with the Bengals. Like, how long is your runway? Well, if I'm the quarterback, we going to be competing. So I do agree there. Now, I do think that the division is harder. I do think they still win it, but I do think they do take more division losses. I don't think that they're the number one seed in the AFC next season. You know what I'm saying? But are they going to make the playoffs?
They the number one seed this year?
Yeah.
They won the number.
Yeah, because
did they lose like 3 games or something, 4 games,
or like 2 games, 2 or 3 games. You know what I'm saying? So they were the number one seed. Do I foresee that happening in the future? No, because I think the division is tougher. That AFC West, again, with those head coaches that you named, all of those teams in the AFC West play like the way their head coaches want to play. Right? We see Pete Carroll. And I don't know if y'all have heard all of the players talking about how much energy he got in this, that, and the third. And if we know Pete Carroll, what are we going to do? He's going to run the ball. He don't want no turnovers, which is why he got Geno. And that defense is going to be better than what it was last year. That's going to be a tough out.
Genty's having a great training camp, too.
Mm-hmm.
So
is our question that we're talking about is do the Chiefs fear people? Is that what we're asking?
Are they still looked at as elite? Like, can you still pinch them in as a playoff team?
Playoffs, yeah. Super Bowl, no.
Of course. I mean, of course, this is like, as long as you got Jordan on the team, like, you're going to do something. You know what I'm saying? Even if you think that the pieces around him are not, like, what they should be. The difference is that the Philadelphia Eagles formula is not replicable for a lot of teams because of cap and because of drafting as well. It's not about, like, I mean, not even that. Just like you have to be incredibly deep on the defensive line. You got to have 2 really good wide receivers. You got to have a running back have a historic season to be a running threat to, make the Chiefs look how we, made them look. Like, we had so many things in our favor that other teams simply just don't. Almost an embarrassment of riches compared to what the Chiefs had. I mean, compared to what really the Chiefs too, but in terms of their competition. Bengals, no defense. Baltimore, still not fearing their skills positions in any way. Like DeAndre Hopkins, they already saw him in practice every game with the Chiefs last year, and they're not fearing him. Otherwise, they probably would have tried to re-sign them. The Chargers, sure, you could say that they might get 1 or 2 games. They might even sweep the Chiefs in the regular season. because of how the Chiefs' margin of victory was so small in certain games last year. Miracle field goals, phantom calls, or whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, if Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have the ability to take it week by week in the playoffs, it all comes down to brain trust. So much of sports is won off the field, and I mean that in every sense. But so much of sports is won off the field, especially with your X's and O's. And when you have just such incredible minds that are in synergy like that with Kelce, who's clearly top 3 tight end ever, Mahomes, clearly top 5 by most people, if not all, should be top 3 for all. But and then Andy Reid, you got to put him top 10 coach. So you have these things, and then Spags is not going to be a slouch. He's probably going to the Hall of Fame as well. So you have Hall of Famers all across the board in synergy. You're never going to be discounted. It might be a tougher road, like I said, but if you look at their competition, they don't have what the Eagles had in the Super Bowl. They don't have a Saquon Barkley. They don't have that. So, Josh Sweat, all these people being able to rush 4 and get home every time. Who really has that? And I think that the Chiefs are going to be prepared for those type of copycats because they drafted like it, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think nobody could copycat what Philly has been able to do.
Because they cheat.
That D, whatever, Spike. That D line is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And obviously they've had a couple of super highly rated players just fall to them in the draft. And that's why their D line and their front 7 is as dominant as they are.
Yeah.
The Chiefs O-line still isn't good. They traded arguably their best O-lineman this offseason to the Bears. You know what I'm saying? I know they drafted a guy and they're moving somebody from inside outside, from guard to tackle. That being said, their weakness is still their weakness. And if they play against that O-line, that O-line is a weakness. And if they play against a team that has a front 7 that is ferocious, again, I don't think nobody has one as good as Philly, but if you play against the Rams or, like some of these other squads, that's going to be an issue. And that's the reason why I think that, again, Spike, I agree with you. As long as Mahomes is the quarterback, you got a chance. But I can't pencil them into the Super Bowl. I'll pencil them into the playoffs. But the Super Bowl, I think in the AFC is wide open now.
Would you pencil them in to win the division?
Yeah. I'm gonna continue to pencil them in until somebody dethrones them. Because I think
somebody has to tell me they can beat them twice and win that division.
Because the Broncos and the Chargers had 10+ wins, and I think you can pencil in the Raiders for 3 more wins than what they had last year. So it's going to be tighter naturally. But until one of those teams takes that step and is like, yo, we are better than you, I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs in the division.
Are the Raiders still hanging up Mahomes voodoo dolls? They still got those?
What?
Y'all
I didn't know that
remember
was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing.
Y'all remember the little thing they had of Mahomes in the offseason last year?
What was the head coach's name?
Yeah,
it was
I
probably
think it was in training camp. The black guy, I can't think of his name.
The linebacker, Antonio Pierce.
Right?
Yeah, Antonio Pierce. Yeah.
Pete Carroll got rid of all that bullshit. He doing real coaching shit. Get out of here, bullshit out of here.
Yeah. Look, Travis Kelce is a year old, man. Like, he ain't the same guy. And he didn't do a lot of building out last year like people thought he was going to do. Like, he showed up in some games, but they need to find a replacement for him.
They still went to the Super Bowl.
With
Travis's decline, and the reports are now he's lost weight. He should be quicker. He's leaning back into that workhorse mentality for his last 1 to 2 years. I think last year he just got kind of sidetracked with,
he's still with
Taylor Swift shit. Yeah. That's that. If he's smart, that ain't gonna never end.
What do you mean?
He should be proposing. He should be proposing this year, probably. Like,
what are the reports about Xavier Worthy?
He's gotten
better. But again, I don't even think it matters.
Worthy's good.
Andy Reid is good enough. Spags is good enough. Mahomes is good enough to where if we keep these positions serviceable, Like we always got a chance. There's no other team in the AFC that I would say that for other than the Chiefs, just because Patrick Mahomes is that good. And we've seen him do it time after time. Like I know Baltimore's gotten better, and I would expect Lamar Jackson to take that leap at some point, but I'm not confident in it. Just like I'm not confident in Josh Allen doing it. And those are the two, I would say, closest contenders to him. And then the third one out would be the Bengals with Burrow, and we see how that could go because of like how they run their
They can't even sign rookies. Like this is crazy.
they got rookies opting out of contracts before they even start.
And notice how Nick don't want to talk about that, but you know,
no, I don't want to. That ain't in the rundown. So, with that being said, as far as how organizations are being ran, unless there's some sleeper team like
that's what I'm
like
saying.
Drake May is great, or
fuck no,
I can't even think of. I don't even know in the AFC who could like break through the ranks unless Cam Ward is really good.
No,
I don't see
not
it.
year one.
It would like you. It would have to be.
I just don't see it.
It would have to be like the only thing that you would have like the only teams that I see in order from fearing, if you're the Chiefs, fear the most to the least. The Chiefs have always come the closest to beating you, so I would say they are like number one on like the threat scale. I'm sorry, the Buffalo Bills are number one for the Chiefs, just in terms of they've come the closest, but we've always slayed them at the end of the day. It's not like we're like, so they probably have them at like a 6 or a 7. Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? The likely, Monday night, you know what I'm saying, step on the line, KD's toe type shit. That was cool, but it's like, I don't think if you're the Chiefs that you look at that like, well, it was the first game of the season. We were just kind of like trying to, find our footing. And if they see us mid season or in the playoffs, we got them. We embarrassed them at home in Baltimore. Third, I want to reorganize that. I would say second is Cincinnati, but they're only off the virtue of their weapons and Joe Burrow. Third would probably be Baltimore. And then everyone else is distant. You could probably throw like Pittsburgh in there at fourth. That's how bad the AFC is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Else in the AFC. I would say it'll go into their own division. Only because your own division is going to know your tendencies, right? Like, and then again, because they all four of those teams have Hall of Fame coaches, his name Sean Payton, Pete Carroll, the other Harbaugh, like to me, and I agree, it's those three teams, and then it's a distant fourth, but I think the fourth would be one of those teams in the